Yeah, when I was listening to you, I also got an emotion that was rising in me because I consider myself also as activist for the freedom of movement of people. I'm a social worker and I work with refugees, and I also shake a lot, but I consider it more as a self-healing tool than to have impact on what's happening around the world. And sometimes I'm getting this distress when I'm in the bubble of the healing techniques, to hear meditations or shakings for changing something what is really practically at the moment wrong in this world, and where people have really deep wounds and they are still suffering. And not only people, nature, I don't want to prioritize any of this, but yeah, I'm not saying that I'm not trying to be open, that we have an impact when we shake also on the ocean, but I'm still having this skepticism, or sometimes maybe I'm a bit burned out by having the feeling that it stays then in the meditation techniques and in the shaking techniques, because the outer world also has to have real practical change, and there has to be politics, and we have to have influence on our politics as well. And we shouldn't forget that it's a privilege to sit in a warm room and shake and meditate and concentrate. And yeah, I just felt like sharing what came up.
Thank you so much for sharing that, and thank you so much for your work. Wow. I feel goosebumps all over. It's like, and this moment of, yes, and then being burnt out with that. You have to listen to fucking practical stuff. This is not about your meditation, and this is not about your hobby. And I really, really hear you. And I would love to use this wonderful opportunity to deepen a little bit more why I could say shaking is also another trick. Because why? For example, I'm talking at the moment from Germany. And here in Germany, over the last years, there have been laws for women in labor in hospitals, etc., 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 like no midwives, etc. And we accepted it. We were like, oh, they are telling us that. And that is what Germans are very good in. Like, oh, Godfather told us to follow there, so we are doing that. And I was like, how is it possible that people who give birth to the next generation, which is women giving birth, how can they be that passive and that much underestimating their power for changing the world overnight? Why are they so unpractical? And this is what was leading me to, okay, Ilan, is your path going onto the street? Because I agree to 1000%. I want a super practical change all over overnight. It's like, it's super practical. It's down to earth. It's having your hands in the mud, and it's knowing your own blood. I'm so with you. And there is suffering, the reality of suffering, if you meet it inside or outside. And I think you are with the burden and blessing of knowing it inside and outside as well. It's fucking real. There is no way around. There is no meditation. There is no enlightenment. Suffering is real. Trauma is real, and it wants to be healed, and it needs to be healed. And I was like, what is happening? That people accept more and more laws that are against life. They are fighting life while saying, this is for your best. How is that possible? And my answer, coming from trauma research, trauma therapy, and my own trauma and trauma healing, is the problem is the nervous system. The nervous system that stops shaking and starts listening to arguments from the outer world. And that is, I think, why activists who have very practical work have so little support of the masses. While everybody should be practically helping and doing stuff. Everybody should be doing that. And why is everybody lazy? We are not lazy as humans. We are shut down in the nervous system. We are numb. So the thing, why do we have to say, please unnumb yourself, at least for this tiny problem, is because we want to put the fire back into the big game. And you are in the big game, and I'm incredibly sorry that there is, I'm sure you are well connected, great network, resources, etc. And of course, you are 24/7 aware for this is not enough. This is not enough. Thousands and millions of activists over the world say we do whatever we can 24/7 and it's not enough. And why are we shaking? Because shaking is a somatic update. There is roughness around, there's challenge around. You don't have to collapse. Keep breathing. And then, I think what will bring the masses back into activism, which then is not, but then it's like, we know about freedom, no more with the old stuff. It's no fun and it makes people suffer. So who should want to do that? It would be easy to overcome the power games with politics, etc., if we would know about our inner power. The path into that is not kicking everybody into the ass. You have to work for the higher game. You have to work for the ocean. The path is making accessible to me and to you. Okay, and you are a bad example, I know. To me, for example, I am showing up for the globe because I am this thing. It's my self-love that makes me stand up for Mother Earth. It's me why I'm showing up. It's me why I'm practically working. And that is why we are sharing here in a seemingly private setting what is needed on the big scale. Unnumb the collective nervous system, unnumb the human, unnumb the human being. And we are incredibly generous and we are incredibly powerful and incredibly intelligent in what is needed around. So I ideally hope that my words make clearer to you what was missing in the first part of me talking. It's like, is this nice for me because I'm privileged? I want you to be privileged because then you can show up with even more power. Use your privileges, but as a resource for full force. And this, there is no way of not having to show up. And at the same time, this is not a duty, but the freedom of loving yourself. And I mean, I do not know which kind of activism, this is the last thing that I will be talking about. I do not know which kind of activism or topic you are focusing on. I'm very aware for example, climate change being an irreversible thing in something like 8 years. So I'm like, if we would love ourselves, we would do something for changing that, because otherwise, I mean, it's just heating up and we can't do anything. So I'm super, super aware of the urgency, and that's unfortunately no blah blah. Yeah. Do you feel a response to what you shared? Do you feel, how does it land? If you want to give words to that, it's just, I honor the opportunity for us connecting to the serious blood in the topic.
Yeah, I think what I'm still searching, but this will be lifelong search. I don't expect it to be finished after a workshop. Is how to bridge the practical activism of people on the ground and the awareness, the emotional awareness, and the energy work for each of us. And I'm kind of walking in these two worlds, and it's interesting for me to connect them and also talk to people from both worlds about the other world, how to create the bridge, and also how to involve, in my case, it's people with refugee background into the energy work, how to bridge this also, because they have real practical problems themselves. But it would be so healing to also enter this world. So this is kind of my quest, but thank you for your words. And I'm really happy anyway to have this workshop and to have the topic in this festival. I think it's super important.
Yeah. If you feel that there could be some kind of inspiration or whatever that I could be as another bridge, a tiny bridge in your research, reach out to me through my website. Just write into the comment, the contact form with please forward to Ilan. I will recognize you, and I'm very happy to share my thoughts on that. And of course, I'm a lowly initiate if I compare myself to how deeply you are into that, but I would be happy to share whatever is on my mind or whatever I know in embodiment tools. In order, I think it's also a practical teaching for all people involved in those really critical existential situations. So I would be happy to, I'm here. If you want to reach out to me, I'm here.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.